Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is David Flack and I am a senior marketing manager here at Bloomfire, and I'm sure that you are just as excited as I am to hear from our speakers. But before we get to that, just a couple of things. You'll notice that right next to me here, there is a question and answer widget. We are encouraging your questions today, so please do drop those in there throughout the session, and we will dedicate some time at the end to address those as best we can, should time allow. If time does not allow, or unfortunately we don't have time to get all of those, we will be following up via email to address those. Chris and Sam have committed to that. So, and lastly, we don't have any slides today, but we do have a pretty great takeaway for you. So if you would like to, please go ahead and download the document right below me here for some of the strategies that Chris and Sam have put together and we'll cover today. All right. I think that's everything from me. So let's get to our speakers. So today we're joined by Bloomfire's Chief Operating Officer, Sam Schneider, as well as Chris Tran, the Customer Experience Manager at Alphabroder. Sam, I'll turn things over to you and disappear for a little while.
Wonderful. Thank you, David. And hello, everyone. My name is Sam Schneider. I'm the COO of Bloomfire, and I'm really excited to dive into our discussion topic, elevating customer success strategies. Before we get started, welcome, Chris. I'm really excited to have you here today. This is going to be a really fun session. Why don't we start out with a really tough question? Why don't you provide an overview of Alphabroder as a company and describe some of the amazing work that you do there?
Sure. Thank you, Sam, and thank you, Bloomfire, for inviting me to this webinar. Really excited as well to discuss the strategies, and I hope everybody was enjoying the classical music in the lobby there. So in terms of Alphabroder, we are a true one-stop solution and a leading supplier of promotional products and apparel in that marketplace. So essentially what we do is we help companies elevate their branding using those products. So if you see a company logo on a polo, a t-shirt, or a drinkware like this, it's most likely or very likely that it came from us. And in terms of my background, I've been with Alphabroder for 10 years now, mostly on a sales side, but for the last 2 years, I've been the customer experience manager here. The department itself and the function is relatively new. It's around 2.5 years old, but we've been doing NPS surveys since 2014. But in terms of the focus and core values of customer experience, we've evolved that 2.5 years ago. So it's myself and my boss, Laura Turner, a strong team of two, but we rely a lot on leaders in other departments. And in terms of my main responsibility, I develop, manage, and evolve the Voice of Customer program. So what that means is we provide a lot of listening channels. So we provide we do a lot of surveying, a lot of interviews, a lot of meetings, and we encourage customers to share that feedback because we want to know what can we do to improve. So we are not able to do that unless we're getting that feedback from them. So that's very important. And then if you haven't guessed, I am also the community manager of AB Wizard, which is the name of the Bloomfire platform that we provided. And we launched that in September of 2022. But I just want to take this time to give a big shout out to our Ignition team, who were part of the implementation and growth of AB Wizard. They consist of customer-facing leaders in Canada and the US. And if it wasn't for them, AB Wizard wouldn't be where it is today. So I just want to take that time.
Thank you, Chris. I actually love the creativity behind some of our customer community names. How did Alphabroder land on AB Wizard?
Well, we had a little fun with this one. We did a naming contest and we sent it out to our customer-facing teams. And because they had the first access to our platform then, we asked them, come up with a creative name, submit it. We had over 90 submissions. So we had names like AB Intel, AB IQ, AB Ability, AB Net, but AB Wizard was voted the best. And that was a great way to introduce the platform to everybody, like a first introduction, but also involve them and be part of the growth of the community. And we actually have a pretty funny say. We play around with a wizard theme, like the Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings type of thing. We said, put on your wizard hat, wave your wand and cast those spells. It's magic at your fingertips. And we actually even did some swag that we gave to everybody, a little hat and a little wand to play around with it, because I mean, that's what we do. So we should be doing that.
Oh, that's a great story. I'd like to dig into some of that magic that you were just talking about. So you mentioned that you run a voice of the customer program, which basically analyzes your customers' most significant pain points. What are the larger issues that knowledge management solves for in customer experience at Alphabroder?
Well, there were two big challenges that we ran into when we first transitioned to a work from home environment. And that's when it was evident that we needed a knowledge management system. One was trying to find answers quickly and accurately. And the other one was putting all that content into one place. So back before working from home, you could speak to a colleague who was on your left or right side, or you could take a couple steps to your supervisor to get the answer, and then you can answer the customer right there. But when we transition to a work from home environment, those people aren't necessarily physically around you. You're surrounded by walls and a screen, basically. So when a customer had a question, the agents had to message their supervisor or a colleague on MS Team chat. And we don't know if that person was on another call or another meeting. So while the agent was waiting, so was the customer. Now, if the agent didn't want the customer to wait, they would say, well, we'll follow you up with another call. And then while they're waiting for that answer, they can say, hey, maybe I can find it myself. But again, we weren't setting them up for success. We had content in a SharePoint site. We had it in multiple local drives. We had it online. We had it in MS Team chat. But there wasn't an effective search engine for that. So they would be literally going through folder to folder trying to find it. And not only did that provide a bad customer experience, but it was even a worse employee experience. But now that we have a KMS system in place, we have resolved all those challenges.
Yeah, I was going to say, those are some pretty common challenges. I find them both persistent and pervasive across most companies out there today. Speaking of both customer and employee experiences, how crucial do you find knowledge management is in enhancing those experiences? And then what specific benefits have you observed from its implementation?
Well, we think it's definitely very crucial. If you just look at today's society, everyone is all about instant gratification. We want answers faster. We want goods delivered faster. We want everything right there. And if we can't provide that as Alphabroder, that customer can easily go to another supplier and get that product from them and get the answers faster too. So with the adoption of AB Wizard, what we've seen are less or fewer follow-up calls. We mentioned, if we couldn't find the answer, we would tell the customer, we'll call them back. So we're seeing less of that. We're seeing improved first call resolution metrics. We're seeing fewer escalation or transfer calls. And we're even seeing an 18% improvement in the average handle time. So now that content is more visible, we can build a stronger knowledge base for the team. And in return, that customer-facing team will feel more empowered and confident in delivering an exceptional experience. And on top of all that, it really helps to retain and acquire top talent too.
Yep. I was going to say, so it sounds like main benefits are going to be just reducing points of friction or making your team just more efficient and confident in the way that they support your clients. Yeah. Next question, how do you and your team specifically use Bloomfire for knowledge management and customer experience improvement?
Well, we leverage the Bloomfire platform primarily for our customer-facing teams as that one spot to find all the answers. But we've provided licenses to other members of different departments, and we encourage them to go in, go explore. You'll find different content that is not related to your department that you can learn more about, and then also identify if there's something missing in that platform. If there's content from your department that's not in there, please, create a contribution and let's load it up. And what we've noticed is there's about an 88% engagement rate with our customer-facing team. So that I think is pretty high. So we're really impressed with that and really happy with that.
Yeah, I was going to say 88% is actually a fantastic engagement rate. It's actually better than our customer benchmark. So it just speaks volumes to the community management team. You guys have been really effective with the implementation and then also with change management and changing culture. So follow-up question, how has Bloomfire impacted your team's ability to access and share knowledge effectively, especially in a customer-facing context?
In that aspect, I think of two specific but very different examples. One example was about 5 years ago or so, we acquired a company by the name of Primeline. So that company, they created the hard goods. So the drinkware, the journals, the mugs, the pens, that type of stuff. Alphabroder at that time was an apparel company, but we had two different websites and we had to consolidate it into one. So that took a couple of years to do. We launched it last April, but what we did was we anticipated any questions or anything that was going to come up, and we loaded it all in AB Wizard so that we can empower the team to find those answers quickly. Because as you know, with any big project like that, there's going to be a lot of questions from customers, right? So that was really great. And then the second specific example is more of a sales rep related thing, where a sales rep had a customer on the call, and that customer asked for something very specific about a product. So that sales rep went online, couldn't find the answer. But he went on AB Wizard, got the answer right away, and he was able to land a very large order on the spot. So in the past, without a KMS system or without a KMS, he would have had to email or message people and then again, wait for the answer or say, Mr. Customer, I'm going to give you a call back. But that customer say, hey, no problem, Chris. I'm just going to go reach out to this other supplier that has a similar product, probably get the answer faster. So we didn't let that happen. We were able to land the big order. So I think that's a massive win.
Yeah, well, a couple of massive wins. I think you spoke earlier, you have broader access. So I think number one, you just have really great alignment across your company. Two, with an acquisition, a lot of companies that are our customers go through acquisitions, and using a knowledge base as an integration tool just helps make that process really successful and seamless. And three, I think you're just allowing your team to be better prepared and making better data-driven decisions. So again, kudos to your department. Kind of changing course now, what specific Bloomfire features are most beneficial for managing customer knowledge and then enhancing that overall customer experience?
Bloomfire has, I would say, tons of really great features that really help us improve everything, every experience. What we like to call like the human experience, which is employee and customer. So, but three specific ones. I love advanced reporting. In customer experience, we're all about data, looking at that data, dissecting it, and analyzing it. So with that advanced reporting, we can see who are top engaged users in terms of a learner or a contributor. What are the top searches and what are the top looked at or downloaded content. And I really love how the customer service leaders are using this. What they've done is they've gamified the stats, and on a monthly basis, they'll send that out to the team and let them know who the top engaged users are from a learner or a contributor. And that creates, friendly competition to see who can use it more. And I think that was really great. Another one is private groups. So our customer service leaders and US sales teams are using this. And Kim Myers, who's the manager of the sales training in the US, she uses this very effectively. So not only will she house sales related content on there, but I've seen content that is about how to effectively present in front of large groups, how to effectively communicate, or even how do you ask open-ended questions. So she's not only using it as a knowledge management system, but also a learning and development management system. And I think that's just another layer to Bloomfire. And then the third one is asking a question. So what we've experienced is sometimes you go and you search for something. And even though we have over 2,000 pieces of content, there's always one that's missing. It's bound to happen. So what we advise the team to do is, before they would not find the content, they would go to their leader, ask for the answer. What we've encouraged them to do now is ask that question. So what happens with that is when they ask that question, it goes to a moderator group, and that moderator group then will find the answer. And when they find that answer, that question and answer now becomes a contribution. So what that does is next time a person is searching for something similar, the answer is there instead of having to go to somebody else. So I think that's a great way. And it involves people in terms of how to improve the platform. Everyone feels like they're part of it.
Yep. And I was going to say, there's a couple of points I wanted to double click on. Number one, I'm a firm believer, kind of like what you were talking about earlier, incentivize folks to get the outcomes that you want to see. So I love when our customers actually utilize the gamified data to get their team members competitive. So when you started sending out those monthly engaged user reports, did you start seeing a real change in behavior?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the first one we've noticed is that like you saw the 88% engagement rate. That was a big one. So instead of people going to their leaders for searching for the content or answers, they're going directly to AB Wizard first. So that was a huge change of behavior and obviously a priority. And then what we noticed too was the customer service leaders, what they observed was with the agents on their downtime, they were actually going into AB Wizard and exploring different content that wasn't visible to them before. So then they're building their knowledge, they're developing themselves, and it's, knowledge is power. So that was a great change of behavior as well.
Yep, broader access again. And also too, I just think there's a lot of benefit in a well thought out feedback loop, especially with the Q&A functionality. Want to pivot now to technology and operations. How does Bloomfire integrate with other tools or systems within Alphabroder's technical ecosystem?
We're using the Bloomfire app in our MS Team chat. So how that helps us is it just provides another channel to search for content. So if someone's in that group chat and they start asking a question, you don't have to open up the AB Wizard platform and look there. You can actually just click on that Bloomfire app and search, and it syncs up to AB Wizard. So I thought that was really great. Just like I said, another channel to find the information. And then the other one is what we're currently testing now, which is called enterprise search. I think this is going to be a huge game changer, not only for us, but for everybody. So how that works now is, or how it works for us is we have a SharePoint site for different departments. On that site, there's confidential information and there's public information. So the contributors will take the customer-facing relevant information from that SharePoint folder and then re-upload it on AB Wizard. But what is happening is it's a two-step system in a way, right? So enterprise search now links that SharePoint folder and AB Wizard. So you only have to put content into that SharePoint folder, or if there's outdated content, you just have to update in that one spot, and it takes about 10 minutes to sync right up to AB Wizard. So that is just gonna, you don't have to do the extra steps. And I know right now, Lorraine, who's the CS training manager, she's helping me test it out. And she's probably one of the top contributors in AB Wizard platform. And she was just like, thank you so much for doing this. So we're really excited for that. That's another big win.
Yeah, I was going to say, we do love big customer wins. I wanted to touch on integrations because you spoke about enterprise search earlier. Our enterprise search functionality and how we're going to be incorporating generative AI in the tool in the future, very near term. For folks on the webinar that actually aren't familiar with this feature, just to talk a little bit about it, Bloomfire's enterprise search is designed to bridge the gap seamlessly between different enterprise data repositories. For example, Alphabroder is using SharePoint. So we're just going to be bringing content directly from SharePoint into Bloomfire, so it's all in one system, a one-stop shop. And our goal with this is to provide the most relevant and up-to-date answers and ensure those answers are driving meaningful actions and outcomes with your customers. So Chris, I know you participated in our early adopter program with these features just because you guys are super users. How do you see generative AI impacting your customer service strategies in 2024 and beyond?
It's a really good question. When we look at the customer experience side, we're actually looking at how to use predictive AI in terms of our analysis and data. Right now, we have different data sources from different platforms, but everything is all manual. Like I'm manually pulling all the feedback in, categorizing it, seeing what themes there are, sharing that out to the leaders of different departments. It's all manual, and that takes a lot of time. So how predictive AI will work for us is we'll have a centralized hub, like a Bloomfire app. We'll have a CX hub. We can pull all the data sources into one place, capture all that structured or unstructured feedback. And then the AI, what that will do is it'll tell me what are the top 5 pain points coming out of that? What are the top 5 improvements that we can do? And then it quantifies everything in terms of, if you do these actions, you can save this much money. Or if you do this, you can make this much more money. Or if you make these changes, it can increase your NPS score by 3 points or whatever. So that just makes my life easier in a way and just really efficient so that I can focus on other projects. On a customer service perspective with generative AI, yeah, we were honored to be included in the early adopter program. We found that it was, or it is going to be a really great feature that we will be utilizing. So we tested out Ask AI and AI Author Assist. So what Ask AI is, so right now, from a user experience, you'll go in, you'll search for something. Like I said, we have 2,000 pieces of content. Maybe it pulls up 400 pieces of content. Then you have to use those filters to narrow down to 400 to maybe 30. But then you got to find out of that 30, you got to find the answer in there. Once you find that piece of content, you go in, and it could be an SOP of, let's say, 50 pages. Then you got to find the answer in there. So that takes a little bit of time. So what Ask AI does is you ask that question right on the platform itself. It will scan every piece of content in AB Wizard, and it'll give you the answer right there. And then it'll tell you what content it pulled that from, so you can click into it. So again, that's all about being more efficient, getting the answers quicker, and just making life better for everybody else, or including yourself. And then AI Author Assist. As a contributor myself, I thought this was amazing because so I can upload, let's say, a deck. It could have 30, 50 slides. But then to improve the search experience, I need to provide a description of that deck, let's say. And I could be thinking about it, and you know how everyone is. They overthink things, they write too much, whatever the case. You click on this author assist, it'll tell you, well, it'll ask you how long do you want it? You want it short, you want it long? It'll ask you the tone you want, what touch points. And you literally click on it, you wait 10 seconds, not even 10 seconds, and boom, there's your summary. So you can just copy and paste that into the description. Again, making it more efficient and making life easier. So we can't wait for the final product to come out. I think that's coming out soon. And it's just going to take everything to the next level for us. So we're really excited for that.
Well, that's so good to hear. And I'm glad the new AI features are helping taking these experiences to the next level, especially your example around Ask AI. The speed to answer is going to be a game changer for a lot of customer service teams. Speaking of the next level, what trends or developments do you foresee in the realm of knowledge management and their impact on the customer experience?
Well, you're seeing the trends now. We're talking about AI, but AI is a massive trend that we're seeing. It started, I don't know, last year or whatever, when I started noticing it. But like, you can go on LinkedIn and you'll see every conference, every summit, every post, everything's all about AI right now, right? So it's a big trend that we're seeing, and it makes sense, right? If you can use AI to help you make your job easier and more effective, so that you can then spend more time doing other stuff, that's how you want to use it. But just don't let it replace you. I would say that. Just use it, right, to help you out. So in this instance with AI, going back to the examples I've been giving, you can have like a text-heavy document, like the 50 pages of the SOP, but everybody is, or not everybody, but what we're seeing is a lot of people like to learn visually. So they don't want to read all this text. They want to say, hey, you know what? Maybe take this text and make it a presentation or a deck. Boom, it can do that. Or take this and splice it up and give me an FAQ, or give me a visual decision tree. So that's how AI can work in terms of being a contributor. So you're going to see some great things for that. And then in terms of unifying systems, I gave you the example of what we're looking in terms of the CX department, on how we're taking all this different data and bringing it into one spot, unifying it all into the system. That's where like enterprise search, I think, is going to be really great. You're going to notice a lot more unification of systems and how we can make things easier for people. Because right now I think it's a little bit hard, and the easier we make it, the better it is for everyone.
Yeah, completely agree. And it is a brave new world out there with AI. I know you were joking earlier about, oh, hope it doesn't replace me. I'm like, it hasn't figured out how to make fingers on a graphic, so I'm not so worried yet. If you've seen some of that.
Still need the human touch, right, Sam?
Exactly. But I mean, the mission behind Bloomfire is really just helping you take things to the next level and making your life easier so that you can use your time for more, strategic activities and doing more revenue generating activities for the company. So it's all about, again, efficiency gains. I'm kind of looking at the time. It looks like, we're getting close to time. So maybe one final question for you. As a CX manager, what advice or what do you want other CX managers to know when implementing a knowledge management solution?
Well, I would say, it all starts with the employees, and that's what we've noticed. When we went to that work from home environment, we did a lot of panels with the customer service teams and asking them, what do they need? So providing a voice for them and setting them up with the right tools to succeed. If we want to acquire and retain top talent, we got to give them a voice. We got to listen, but most importantly, we got to take action on that, right? And what we're seeing too is in the interview process, we're actually getting candidates asking, what knowledge management system do you have? And it's like, I've never asked that in the interview process. I've never heard about it, but now you're seeing that. So people are adapting and adopting quickly to that. So if you don't have a knowledge management system in place right now, I think it should definitely be a top priority and something that you got to get into the structure and company structure for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think KM or knowledge management is really turning into a competitive advantage for some companies. Candidates really come in, they want to be set up for success. And I think, a really, well produced and managed knowledge management system is a really great way to set people up for success and give them, a solid career pathway. Chris, this has been fantastic. I'm so happy that you joined us on the webinar today. You provided a lot of good examples and feedback. And I'm sure there's actually some questions in the audience. I've been kind of reading as we've been going along. So why don't we just take a couple of minutes and allow folks to type in questions into the chat right now. And I'm actually going to turn the webinar back over to David so he can share some of the, the good questions that have come in.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. And thanks, Chris. What a extremely insightful session. I really appreciate the time you guys dedicated there and all the responses. And Chris, thanks for all of the the conversation around AI. I think that's a really interesting point. And to your credit, yes, those features are coming very soon. If you're a Bloomfire customer, there's more information within our community. If you're not, I've added a link where you can request to see those in person. Chris did a really good job summarizing those. They are extremely cool and worth seeing if you have not yet. So it looks like we do have a few questions that have come in. Chris, this first one, I think for you. So how does Alphabroder define and prioritize CX or customer experience? And how does that influence your approach to customer support?
Customer experience, like I mentioned, was created, the department of function was created 2.5 years ago, but now it's a core value of ours. And we have support from the top down, and that goes a long way in terms of if we want to drive a change in being a customer-centric culture in the company. And in terms of customer experience, how we defined it, it's not just one touch point, like an interaction with a customer service team or going on the website. It's about every touch point throughout a customer journey. So if you think about it, how does a customer think of Alphabroder when they want to buy a product, right? How do they find information? Do they call in? Do they go online? How do they pay? What's the credit experience like? And what's the experience like when they receive the product? It's every single touch point throughout. And what we do is we identify those friction points and we improve it, right? And we identify it through the feedback. And in terms of CX, it's like I said, it's a team of two, but we work and we partner with leaders in all the different departments because customer experience is not just our department. It's every single department in Alphabroder. It's every single person at Alphabroder. So that's how we define it.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, customer experience, it sounds like, is a top priority at Alphabroder, and I think that's really important, and setting that tone is really good. Okay, another one, Chris, again for you, the man of the hour. So how have you been dealing with change management amongst your team after implementing Bloomfire?
Oh, that's a really good question. Well, we talked about the culture, right? Changing culture. So that has to do with, I would say, habits. But changing habits is not easy. I mean, if I look at it personally, and I'm sure everyone in the audience thinks the same, how do I work out more? How do I eat healthier? And it's really hard to start, but once you get into that routine and you start seeing progress, that's when you buy in, right? Once you've seen that progress. So with us, it's about consistent communication. It's about repetition and persistence, right? Nothing changes overnight, like I was saying, but eventually you start seeing the progress, and that's when you start winning, right? That's when you start getting buy-in from people. And I would say leverage the ambassadors of the platform, people that are using it, people that are loving it, leverage them, let them speak, let them bring people on. And this could be an executive or a customer service rep or whoever, it doesn't matter, but just leverage the ambassadors because they will help you in terms of change management.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for that so much. And, I appreciate you taking time to answer these questions. We are right at the bottom of the hour, and so I want to respect everyone's time. And as we wrap up today, Chris, just again, a huge thank you to you and Sam, to you for taking some time to share your insights. Your journey at Alphabroder has been super compelling, and seeing how KM has driven your CS team and the customer experience has just been awesome. So thank you guys, and thank you to everyone who joined. There will be a recording sent out, and so you can look for that in your inbox in just a couple of hours. But until then, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, David. Appreciate it.